How to spot a player? Well, we've got Michael Stewart in the studio to give his perspective on what it looks like if you're getting played. We're going to drink our nightcap, the big pun, and we're going to play our game Playdate tonight on It's Complicated.
You're listening to It's Complicated with your hosts Jennifer Golden and Lauren Leonelli, coming to you live from the AfterBuzz TV studios in Los Angeles, California.
Hey everyone, welcome back for an all-new episode of It's Complicated.
The struggle is still real when you're dating in the city.
I'm still Jen.
And I'm still Lauren.
And tonight, guys, we're discussing how to spot a player with our guest, Michael Stewart.
You guys, Michael is a 31-year-old entrepreneur from Atlanta, and he attended Georgia State University. Over the years, he has dabbled in some careers like physical therapy. He worked for airline companies, insurance companies, and he also owned a travel club company as well, which is very fitting for the reality TV show he ended up on.
Totes. And also why they called him an entrepreneur as his label, because that's a bunch of different things.
All the things.
All the things. So, guys, if you're reality TV junkies like we are, then you've seen Michael starring in Love at First Flight, a reality show on Lifetime where couples are paired by a matchmaker who we're dying to meet and find out more about. And they must travel together and complete challenges for 8 weeks in the hopes of finding love. Is it 8 weeks or 4 weeks?
I think
30 days, right? Well, we'll find out from Michael.
It's 4.
To be sure.
It's 4, I think.
4 weeks, great. Well, so Michael was a self-proclaimed Playboy bachelor, but he decided to join the cast of Love at First Flight because he said he was ready for the next step.
We'll see about that.
Yeah, we'll see. And guys, you can watch us host the after show at AfterBuzz TV right here after It's Complicated, 7 p.m. I know, every Wednesday.
And if you want a double dose of Michael, then you'll watch now. And then because he's on both of the things, because he's coming back for Sloppy Seconds.
Ooh, sassy.
Yes, he is. And guys, if you're listening to our show, then you're officially master daters. That's right. We are helping you graduate to the top of the dating class with that term. So we've got some experts in the house weekly and this week to help along with that process. So hashtag master daters on all of the things that you connect with us on the social medias.
Oh, yeah.
Because you're now master daters. You're welcome.
And guys, his love is taking flight. Or it already has. We don't know, but Michael Stewart's in the studio to tell us what's going on.
Yeah.
Welcome.
What's going on? What's going on, guys?
We are really excited to have you here. And first, even though we've already started, we're going to have our drink, which
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Your drink. That's what you drink. I guess it's your jam, right? It's tequila and lemonade.
It is. It is. Like I was a brown guy, but
well,
clearly.
tequila can be brown. He was a brown guy.
Right. But
and now he's not.
But yeah, the tequila is my turn-up drink.
Yeah, because it's an upper.
It is. It
But
definitely
añejo is also brown, isn't it? Reposado is white.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or clear.
But you go for a white tequila, and instead of like the whiskey and the scotch and the stuff like that, you're going more this. And then it's an upper, and you can mix tequila with things because you can't mix scotch, and so you got to just drink that straight like a man.
Yes.
And that's hard
Or like a woman that drinks it.
when you're not a man.
Right.
Not that you're not a man.
Okay.
I'm not a man.
Yeah. All right.
Just in case anybody's sensitive out there. That comment.
Right.
We
If
love
you are, I don't
a human.
give a fuck.
Facts.
Like, I'm
If
just
you're
saying,
thirsty.
if you are a woman and you drink the brown stuff, not figuratively, then you are a less common person, woman. Most I'm just saying, okay?
I, at some point, drank whiskey on the rocks with water.
Oh.
So,
Okay.
and then I stopped.
Oh, I remember when you did that.
Yes, I was doing that because that's what my boyfriend drank.
Oh.
Well,
Yeah.
no, he drank whiskey and Coke, and I was like, I'm not drinking Coke, so I'll drink water and water it down
She's
at
not
least.
drinking Coke.
No. Oh, boy. Here we go.
I'm kidding.
Okay, so...
But our drink, we made this drink
Yes.
for you, and we're calling it the Big Pun.
I appreciate that.
Because we might not be players, but we drink a lot. And also, it's confusing because it looks like it's tequila, but then when you drink it, it's like fruity and it's deceiving like a player. Because then the lemonade gets you, and you're like,
That's how you
oh,
do it.
that's not what I expected, player. So this is the Big Pun, and it's tequila-y, which is hard for
but
me.
delicious.
But
So
it's good.
thank you for suggesting.
I'm
this
drinking it. I'm
delightful
not gonna
summer drink.
No problem. at all.
So
Yeah.
guys, we all know a player's gonna play and a hater's gonna hate, and dater's gonna date. And so today we're helping you guys spot a player if you're out in the dating market, and even if you're not, we're looking at you, Tristan Thompson.
We talked about him last week.
Hi, Chloe.
Seriously,
We're still upset.
what the
Wait,
fuck?
you saying hi to her
Courtney?
like, call me?
Oh,
Is she your jam? Is she your type?
You know, I liked Courtney.
Oh yeah, I think
Courtney
she's totally
was,
cute.
yeah, that was my jam.
If you had to pick a Kardashian.
Yeah, if I did. Kim
Yeah.
was just too
2.
plastic. Yeah.
I mean, I think she's gorgeous, but
I think they're all a little plastic.
I mean, they are, but
It just
Courtney
looks-
is more authentic to me.
Yes.
Yeah.
In the
But I
realm.
mean, if she wanted to make sex with you, you wouldn't be like,
Oh, of
ew,
course.
gross,
What?
Kim.
What?
Yeah, you Kim Kardashian, you get out of here.
You're gross.
Kanye who?
Yeah.
We're
Exactly.
going.
I mean,
Exactly. Who would have thought they had the best relationship out of everybody?
Right.
And who knows if they do. But
Right, true
that's
story.
what we don't know here, that we're the blind leading the blind sometimes. And we're trying to get to the point of a good relationship. But you start somewhere, and even sometimes a year into dating someone, like, especially if you're dating a player and you're getting the runaround, you could still be kind of trying to figure out, like, am I just talked to a girlfriend today? She's like, not dating this guy anymore because she's like, I am afraid it's going to turn into the last guy that was 3 years of like that runaround. So she was definitely dating a player, and she's like, is this guy also one of those? And so we feel like there might be some things, there might be some like red flags, signs, things to pay attention to. You know, who knows what's going to happen? You might have a real tricky one.
But you might know because on your show, Love at First Flight, Stephanie referred to you as like a Playboy
The
type.
Atlanta Playboy.
Right,
She
that
was.
like wasn't
Yeah.
ready. And
Right.
so, you know, what does a Playboy look like? Like, what is that? You tell us in your words.
You know, back in my heyday, you know, in college days, I guess a Playboy would be someone that a lot of women look at a lot, maybe, or they.
But
you
then
know,
they have to
seek
take
that
action
attention.
to be.
To play.
Allegedly.
Oh, so you think
Allegedly.
you could be a Playboy without actually acting on the things?
Oh, for sure.
But
for
isn't that
sure.
just called an attractive person that gets attention?
Yeah.
Yeah, but you can't just say that's an attractive person that gets attention because there's always somebody that's gonna throw some, you know,
So-
curveballs in there.
Okay, so you're saying if you're attractive and you're getting attention, people are going to assume that you're actually acting on it, therefore you're a Playboy.
That's fact.
So it's a label, but not really like a true story.
It's a label. I mean, there are some Playboys. I'm not gonna lie. There are some Playboys, but then there are genuine people who,
Yeah.
you know, who just get labeled.
So
That's
do you
true.
think you were mislabeled?
I plead the fifth.
Okay.
All right. Well, we'll get to the bottom of these red flags and see how
Also,
good you're at it.
This is the thing. There is a time in your life, in all of our lives, where dating and like doing your own thing and not getting tied down to anybody is, if you want to call that a player, okay. But like, if you're not seriously dating anybody, then you're not seriously dating anybody. That's not what you want. Then go ahead and be a player.
Well, I think one is hurtful and one is just like you do what you do.
Yeah,
If you're getting played, but if you're just like somebody casually dating and then you're casually
Right.
dating this person and that person,
Or
right?
like if you're honest about it, I think then you're just kind of being like, look, I'm not doing anything serious right now. If you
Right.
want to hang out, we hang out. But if you're like faking it and
that's a
phoning it
different
in
story.
Yeah, that's-
and you're doing some trickery,
Yeah.
that is a player like Tristan Thompson
So-
impregnating people and then being like,
Yeah, and like, but what is that? Like, how shitty is that for her?
That's, yeah, for her, yeah.
Like,
it
what
is.
do you
but do you
even
think there
do?
were signs? Like, I just have to understand
Yeah.
how we got to this point, guys.
I mean, you got to look at it. He's a, well, he just plays in the NBA. You
So
know,
that
I
is
wouldn't
it,
say
right?
he's like a. I wouldn't say, you know, he's
not
one
like
of the
Kobe or
best,
whatever,
you
yeah.
know
But he's
what I'm saying?
attractive and he plays in the NBA and he's
But,
tall.
And there's a lot of like, there's a
tall.
lot of eyes on him because he is now tied to them who are very prevalent in the
Kardashian.
social
Wait,
media.
do people call him
sphere.
that?
Yeah, of course.
Why do I not know these
Tristan
things?
Kardashian.
But like, do you know what I mean? So now there's even more eyes on him, which is also stupid for him. What a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
Right, to be
Yeah.
like,
But
no.
also,
Yeah, don't screw that one up.
And
you
then-
stay in that family where you belong.
because she's
I'll be in that
definitely
family.
she definitely
I'll
has
marry
more money
Chloe.
than he does, and I'm not saying that makes you a better person.
She
I'm
does.
but she does.
does.
And also talk about like being a player and then being like the worst of the players, because what he did, players hurt. Yes, if you're getting played, you're hurt. Like
But
you've
guys,
gotten
didn't
screwed
Tom
over.
Brady do this
No.
to his girl?
What?
She was pregs, and then he left her for Giselle.
Okay, so
Oh, he did.
yeah, he was
remember?
with Bridget.
Mr. Brady.
Moynihan.
He was with Bridget Moynihan. She was pregnant. I don't know if they were together or not.
Well,
We should
if
somebody
asked her-
find that.
Well, because it wasn't a Kardashian, that's why it wasn't.
No,
in
no.
the
Well,
top.
it was also
Well,
like
and
not.
because it was Tom Brady, who's
Right,
like
exactly.
America's
He does no
God.
wrong.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't.
I mean, listen, I don't know, but what do you
Flag
do?
footballs.
This kind of playing or getting played is the worst of all of them, because it's like supposed to be the happiest time of her life. She just had her first child, which she's openly wanted for a really long time.
and everyone's been rooting for her.
And she's been talking about the struggle. She's been very candid about it, because I think she feels like it lets other people relate to her. And she doesn't have to talk about that kind of thing. And she got vulnerable, and then she's pregnant, and she's literally about to have the baby. And then this happens, and it's you're going to think back on this time for the rest of your fucking life.
This child is like
Tainted.
the Scarlet A. Like she is literally gonna grow up being that kid,
and
that
her name's
daddy.
True. So what
Like,
kind of irony is
truly
that?
terrible.
True,
But
Thompson.
at least it has significance because it like runs in the family. That's like a name that has been throughout their Kardashian family.
It has?
Yes.
True
it's-
is?
Oh, wow.
Yes. It wasn't like Dream. They didn't just pick a word that like.
Oh,
okay.
really?
Yes. So thank God there is something behind that. Like someone's, Chris's uncle's dad or someone's person middle name was True, and then someone else in their family was also True.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
Yeah,
and they
so-
do the double initials. So
Well, and so I guess that's why she wasn't a Kardashian, but now people are like telling her to change this kid's name. People were booing Kristen at a game, a home game.
Wow.
maybe he
nonetheless.
should change his name to Kristen Kardashian.
See, I thought that they. I mean, I
Good.
thought I would. If I was it Chloe? Yeah, if I was Chloe, that would be a Kardashian baby. That wouldn't be a Thompson.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, maybe she can do that now, or I don't know. Who knows? But that's the worst kind of player, when it's like disrupting something like that, right?
Yeah, that's
like,
horrible.
That's awful.
Will she ever date again? Like at this point?
Oh, she will.
Well, hopefully it's not another basketball player. Learn your lesson.
Or
Like
a
talk
rapper.
about like
I hope
not wanting a
Yeah.
player. Like you're literally dating somebody whose his occupation is player.
Who, by the
See?
way, but hold on,
See?
we have talked about this before, and it doesn't make it. We say this too, like walking down a dark alley with fucking dollar bills hanging out of your pockets is not a smart choice. It's a risky move, but it doesn't mean you deserve to get mugged. But also, like, probably
You're
don't
asking
fucking do
for
that.
it.
You
Now,
are.
if you're
You
an athlete, and I'm not saying that anybody deserves to get cheated on or whatever, but also, like, let's talk about the whole picture. Like, these women throw themselves on these dudes who have also sometimes been groomed from maybe even high school, depending on where you went, but definitely college to now, that everyone fucking does whatever they want.
Yeah.
You want this, you want that, here's this, here's that. Like, people book their plane tickets for them. They don't do shit sometimes for themselves, not saying they're not capable. People do that. And they are in this world of like, I can do whatever I want. And then these girls are throwing themselves on them. Like, what the
What
fuck
are they gonna
do you
do?
think
I don't know.
is gonna
Maybe have
happen?
What's
some
a guy
morals.
to do?
Okay, but
3
now
on 1.
Have some morals, but
Right,
I'm just saying.
So, okay, now that you've been on TV, like, was this your first time on TV, being on the show?
Yeah.
Besides
kind of.
porn.
I did like.
I'm kidding.
Yeah, those videos are not out. Hopefully.
Perfect.
But, yeah, I did. One little stint on like the Travel Channel. which
Okay.
was-
What did you do?
It was extreme water parks. And one of my homegirls from home called me. I literally left Vegas the day before. I was hungover, and she was like, "Hey, Travel Channel's gonna pay us to go ride at these water slides in Six Flags." So I was like, "Okay."
Hell yeah.
Yeah, so we did.
You totally have the personality for that.
And
so,
did that
Appreciate it.
start you wanting to do like travel because you had like a travel company? Or is that
no,
not related?
Not at all. I
Okay.
just when I was working in physical therapy, one of the therapists, he was turning like 68, and I was like, "Why are you still working?" And he said, "You know what? It's not really what you thought it was. You know, you're young. Just go travel the world and go enjoy it." And I took that leap, and I said, "Okay."
That's
And I
smart.
just, left
That's
it
a
travel.
risk.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so but now that you are on TV, do you find like are people sliding into your DMs? Like, are you getting more attention, especially because you're on a show about love and you are, at least, you're our favorite on the show.
Yes.
I appreciate
So
you
like
guys.
week after week, and so I think, well, partially it's because you seem really genuine and like a good human and like super patient with Stephanie the first couple of episodes and like, bless your heart. But so I'm sure that's attractive
yes.
to women. So are you getting more attention?
I am. Yes, I am. Getting a lot of, I mean, women are bold these days. So, I mean, they're going to say whatever they want to say. And, you know.
How are you going to react?
I appreciate the compliments, but I mean, that's probably as far as it's going to go.
How come? Are you in a relationship now?
I don't know. I don't know.
And he can't say, obviously, because the show is still airing.
I am getting a vibe.
And the more we give him to drink, maybe we'll find out more.
Keep drinking your juice, Shelby. So I feel like, okay, so now Stephanie had this, impression that you were a Playboy, and this is what we're talking about, and you're like, I'm going to plead the fifth. So clearly there's a time in everyone's life where they would classify themselves on whatever end of the spectrum that is as a player, like, oh, I was really single, or I was having fun, or whatever you want to say. So now, do you feel like there was a time in your life where you took an obvious turn? Like, okay, I did all those things. I'm not, like, that doesn't sound fun to me anymore, or...
Yeah, it just got old.
Okay.
I literally...
It got old or you got old?
Or both.
No, I never get old. But no, it just got old. I mean, doing the same thing, literally having sex with, random women that you meet.
Yeah.
And
Going
then,
out to the bars,
just
drinking.
Going out, and it's just like, there's really no substance here. Like, it's just
But you're not
recreational.
looking for that at that point. You're just doing it for fun. And
Yeah,
it's like
Back then, I was just doing it for fun.
Totally.
Just to, just kicks and giggles. But and then it gets to a point to where it's like, all right, well, you need some substance. Like,
That's what
because I'm
you're
a
looking
relationship type of guy.
Okay.
So
Are you?
I am.
Now,
I am.
what is your relationship history like? Have you had like a lot of serious girlfriends?
I've had 3 significant relationships beforehand, and then like one relationship, I was totally immature. She was older. I was immature, and I realized that afterwards. Then the next relationship, I was like the older person, and she was just, it was like I was babysitting a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And then the third one, she really loved me. I loved her too, but it was like she loved me more.
Okay, and you could feel that.
Yeah, and I
But
could
is
feel
that
it.
bad?
It's not bad at all. It's not bad at all, but I had to realize it. I had to realize that. And
I think it depends. Like, I don't like that feeling of like, you like me more than I like you. Ugh.
But at some point, like, isn't love love? Like, are there levels of love?
I
No,
don't know how to quantify it.
It's not levels, but I mean, from that moment I knew like that love was genuine love. And then I knew like, wow, like I didn't know someone could love me that much, like more than I think I love myself.
Right.
But, it was to the point to where she took away from herself, and that's what
Okay.
I didn't like.
Okay.
And I was like, hey, go back.
It's like unhealthy almost.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
And so,
But-
now you feel though that you're ready for like equal love, like
for
where like you've already experienced like what love looks like when somebody loves you more than themselves. So like now, would you say you're ready for like a full commitment?
Oh, of course. Of course.
Okay, that's nice.
Are
Now,
you fully committed?
oh my God, stop probing him.
If I
he's-
ask him different ways, maybe I'll win.
Maybe. What does it? Okay, so now if we're trying to spot a player, help us decide. So what do some things look like when you're Michael, who's like, I'm in the mode where I'm not really like wanting to settle down. I'm not really like so into you. I
We've
might
got
just
some
be.
red flags we're gonna throw at you.
Yeah,
Okay.
like
So we want your reaction to these red flags.
Okay.
Okay?
yeah.
All right. So, from Michael's standpoint here, you drink up while we talk. A player makes generalized statements in your direction rather than talking about you. So, for instance, if he's vague in his discussion and doesn't dive into what makes you tick, what your passions are, and what you want out of life, like, is he really interested?
That may be a player. Yeah, that's a line.
And do you agree? Like, can you say like, yeah, like that makes sense for me. I remember feeling that way.
Yeah, you do what you have to do in order to get whatever you're trying to get.
Well, that brings us to our next one.
Yeah.
Lauren.
That makes sense. Okay, so then we're also wondering if, and I mean, it's kind of related, like a player tells you things like, you're too beautiful or sexy or intoxicating to be single. Like,
What does that even mean?
yeah, like trying to like, I don't know,
It's like fluff.
Yeah, that whole thing, I never really understood. Well, I never really understood that because in dating, like for someone to say that, I mean, a beautiful woman could definitely be beautiful, but she could be crazy.
True.
So
that doesn't mean anything.
yeah, that doesn't mean anything at all.
Which is, I think, what they're kind of saying here. Like, if there's only someone's ability to sort of look at you on that surface level and just focus on that thing, that's like probably a bad sign, is what you might be looking for there.
It's also a line. It's like
it's a line. And also, it's like, what are you so, and it's like single shaming. Isn't that like single shaming? Have you
It's
heard of
reverse single shaming.
Yeah.
Because it's like saying like, why, if you're
what's
so
wrong with
pretty,
you?
yeah, what the hell's going on here?
Like, what's your problem?
But also, who uses those words?
I don't
Like,
know.
only a player says things that sleazy.
Yeah,
like,
intoxicating.
You're intoxicating.
If somebody says to you, I want to make love to
Barf,
you,
barf,
player.
barf.
Barf.
Rash.
Like, who does that? Just say, like, the things.
Like, I want to do sex now.
Yeah, like,
Take off your clothes.
penis in vagina, insert.
Even
Not-
emojis. Those
No,
work
but
too.
not make love. And, like, if someone calls you, if you're like, that's my lover.
Oh,
Okay, unless you're like 57
No.
and you're French. Can you say these things?
Or a player, a 57-year-old French man.
right,
Sure,
right.
all that is the same.
My worst nightmare.
Oh yeah, but also guys, we're getting some of these red flags from our friend James Sama, who's
Yes.
a blogger, and he teaches you about the modern romance.
New school romance.
And
James
so,
Sama.
That's where some of these red flags came
Yes.
from. So we're diving into the next one, which
Yes.
is a player spends more time talking about himself than trying to get to know you. What's that about?
That's facts. That's facts.
Damn.
Because I guess prior to now.
Prior to present, Michael.
Yes, exactly.
Pre-Stephanie.
I mean, you're kind of putting your pitch out there. Your 30-second pitch. That 30 seconds may turn into a minute.
Yeah.
May turn into
Like you're trying to
5
talk them
minutes.
into it.
That's so
Yeah.
entrepreneurial of you.
Yeah.
It's like you're going on Shark Tank with your love.
Right.
Pitching himself. Yes.
Yeah, and then you just talk her panties down.
See,
Oh.
because then, and also,
word.
I mean, if you feel like you need, if you feel like you are going to start to like turn the focus onto her, you might be opening some doors for her to then, who knows what, like, just start giving information that might connect you, or you just like don't want to have to tune out and like be obviously tuned out because then she can tell.
Usually if somebody only talks about themselves, it's from nerves or because they don't care about you enough to ask you questions.
I feel like it's after a while. If you're noticing after a while, I dated a guy one time and I was like, do you even know how old I am? And he was like, 28. And I was like, thank you, but no.
But some people genuinely don't know how to listen. So they're just going to keep talking and talking and talking. And they just need that right person to be like, shut up.
Right.
Ask me something about myself. And then later on, like I used to hate it when, a question will come up. Hey, remember when I told you about this? What were we talking about? No,
Oh, damn.
And you're like, don't bait me.
Right.
Well, maybe you should have listened. But okay, so what would your pitch be? If you had to, we're on a date right now, the three of us, because that's normal.
And you're a player.
And you
Would
crush a
you-
lot.
yeah.
So what would your pitch be? 30 seconds, not a minute.
My pitch would be, what are you looking for?
Hello?
Yeah, what's
That's
going
it?
on? Yeah. What are you looking for in your ideal mate?
But that's not about you.
Well, maybe
how do
just
you know?
answer really quickly and then
my
see
answer
what
is
it's
not 30 seconds. It's very long. It's an essay.
Jen,
I'm sorry.
play the game.
A partner, somebody I can trust and rely on, somebody to walk my dog at night.
I'm all that.
Oh.
I'm all that in a bag of chips. Trust me on that.
And I'm just supposed to trust you?
No, I mean, because we're just going to continue to talk.
So you're just basically what your pitch is like, I'm going to just go with whatever you're saying. And like, yeah.
If you're a dog
accommodating.
lover, I love dogs too.
Damn.
Oh my God,
So-
it's like a straight lie.
And it's
It
also
is.
a chameleon. That's the new player. That's a description for a player. They're a chameleon.
Yeah,
So
they
they
just-
just agree so that you think you're the same and that you're like on the same page and stuff and you connect on so many levels, but really they're just full of shit.
You love yoga? I just left Bikram a couple hours ago.
Damn,
Wow.
you're good. This is also thinking really quick, so you must have done this.
You know. But I mean, I get it. Like you want to relate to somebody. And so you just start like thinking, yeah, if I just make them feel comfortable, like I know them so well.
Did you use any of these tactics on Stephanie on the show?
Oh, of course not.
What do you mean, of course not? Are you
Of course
just saying
not.
that now?
Of course not. No,
I don't know
because
what's real anymore.
On the show, like I genuinely gave her me, and then I said, "Listen, either you're gonna get me or you're not." and then
I feel like you did too. I mean, I don't know you, but I just feel like you were like, I mean, you could tell sometimes when she was annoyed with you and you just kept doing you. Like, you know?
Yeah, like with the sausages.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I mean, come on, it's a
who's
sausage.
not gonna say-
Right.
They're
You're
like,
stuffing
make sure.
sausage.
They're
Come
like,
on.
make sure you get it real wet. They like fucking lobbed that pitch every time. What are you gonna be like? Okay.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, only they. It's
You're
like
gonna take it real serious.
I'm
You're like,
so
I'm signing up to be
sure.
a butcher in my next
I
life.
feel
Look,
like-
and me and the butcher were going. I mean, we're going back and forth.
Yeah,
we were
they-
going back and forth.
they
but
cut
they
that
cut,
all
They
out.
cut that out.
Oh, so there was like a whole repertoire,
Oh, of
and we only
course,
just saw
but it's-
your end.
it's just-
Okay,
editing room.
well, now you're, let's say you've talked the girl into like the fact that you're a dog yogi and you've gone on a couple of dates with her. But if you notice as a girl that you are passively being invited to on these dates now, that is a sign of a player, like someone who's not really making a plan, but you sort of end up together at the end of the night.
Like, wanna meet up?
Yeah.
Or texting on the day of, like, hey, like,
it's very
you free
casual.
tonight?
Yeah.
Like, hey, I'm going here. You want to meet me here?
Now,
No,
I have a
people
question
have
though.
plans.
This is, again, none of these things I think are like steadfast, but like I think it's fair to say last minute plans can happen sometimes because life happens and maybe you have a schedule opening and you really do want to see this person. So you might text a girl that you're actually interested in. Hey, like, do you want to meet out tonight? I ended up being free. I don't know that I would say that's a player as long as you know that there are other planned dates within or around that, right? Like that can happen sometimes.
Right. Like if it's just it's just a one instance or you know a couple of times. But if it's all the time, like
if it's
every
a
time you
trend.
guys
Why do you,
think
as a
about-
man, why do you do that? Why do you invite a girl out last minute?
Not you, Michael, but you potential
past
player.
Michael.
I mean, sometimes I mean you really because we don't know how to date. We don't know.
All of you?
Well, you're generalizing.
Generalizing.
I'll take it.
Generalizing. It's,
It explains a lot.
Yeah, because we're not listening from the dates. We're not listening to know what you like. So generally it'll be like, okay, well, I thought I was gonna do a lot of things, but maybe I'm not this opened up. Hey, I want to hang out. Let's go do something.
Yeah.
And we're super vague. It's not direct.
But if you are being vague with a girl for a reason, like why are you doing that? Like explain to our listeners if you are really like just kind of inviting this one girl that you've been like screwing around with for the past month or two, and you just keep doing the whole, hey, I'm out tonight, it's 10 o'clock, like come meet me and my boys, whatever. Like, why are you doing that to someone that you're not really interested in the long haul? Like, what's the point?
You're doing that one to make sure that she's not, out there, or make sure she's not being swept up by someone who.
But what if you don't
genuinely
even want
cares.
her though?
Well, if you don't want her, then I mean it's fine whether she comes or not. But if you don't want her, then
You probably just want to sleep with her, so you want to make sure she's there to drink at the end of the night. And
Right.
that's
Yeah,
that.
and
It's not
then-
like you're
yeah.
sitting and having dinner with
That's
her
okay.
first.
I think girls do it too. We're just saying,
Of course.
what does it look like? That's what it looks like, right? Like when
yeah,
you're
but
just.
if I'm with the guys, I wouldn't per se, unless like we're out here and we're shooting and missing, out
Okay.
with and we're shooting and missing. Then you call that A1 like, hey,
Wait,
it's
A1?
That go to.
yeah,
to,
the
like,
A1.
Sounds
Yeah.
it's
The
like
bench, the number one bencher.
Exactly.
Sounds like steak sauce.
Coming straight off the bench, man. That Iron Man telling
Yeah.
him to come through.
the iron.
And
Do you
yeah,
feel
and it's
bad
like-
ever?
did I?
Did you?
Pass,
Yeah.
Michael.
I mean, I did, but I mean, you're selfish at that point.
Yeah, true.
You're
Or
not.
you wouldn't be doing it
Right.
because you're like
Right.
able to disconnect.
All right.
Or you rationalize it somehow, like, well, she's just doing the same thing or
Right.
whatever.
Exactly, to make
Essentially,
yourself feel better.
Yeah.
If she's showing up, it's like, well, she also just came
Yeah.
here. It's not like she's like, no, I don't want that. No, she
Yeah.
showed up.
Yeah,
She
because
showed
I
up.
mean, the women have the control over it. They can say no.
True.
but They say yes.
So then
it's
All
not
the time.
fault.
it's fair game.
It is fair game. Okay, so now you already mentioned like sometimes a player can remember nothing about your conversations, and that's because they're not good listeners or not making it a priority. But now we're going to name some things that people who spot player like. Here's the thing: a lot of people are on dating apps right now. Okay, so we're gonna try and avoid players at this moment, and we're gonna shoot for nice guys.
Yeah.
So here are some things that if we see, we're gonna know that's a nice guy. Okay, and then you have to agree or disagree with this whole thing too.
Okay.
real quick.
Yeah, so like when he mentions other people in his life and he wants to talk about his friends and his family and his like it says like his philanthropic endeavors, which is who the fuck are you dating, Mr. America? But
Right.
anyway, some things like that. He's talking about personal connections.
Right.
Yeah, that works because it's like, you know, it's a nice guy. He's running for office or something.
Yeah,
Like,
probably.
This is a good guy.
And he's
that wanna
letting you
connect
in
with.
and wants to talk about real shit. Like on the show, we see often like we're trying to like get people to be vulnerable and really open up and talk about personal stuff and not just like the task at hand. So
Yeah.
Right.
All right. Another one is he's not flexing in his photos.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh.
yeah.
Well, someone who basically isn't like seemingly looking narcissistic.
Right, like not that like in the mirror gym photo where he's flexing and he's like, I'm gonna lift you up with these big guns and throw you against a wall. Like,
Well, because if he's only showing pictures of him, like, look at what my surface stuff looks like, he might only be looking for that.
Shallow.
You know what
Right.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
So someone who's posting like other photos, like
Other
of their
ones.
puppy or something.
I mean, yeah. What are other photos?
I don't even
Because
know.
I mean, if you take a picture with your puppy, you're
Hiking.
getting ridiculed. Like,
Yeah, true.
Hey, you're soft. You know.
no, not if you're a guy and you have a cool dog. That's love.
What hiking,
cute.
surfing, you know, maybe
Activities, your family
on the job,
gathering.
or yeah,
That's real.
Yeah,
you and your friends like on vacation.
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, yeah. If you're in the mirror like posing, it's
just
kind of corny.
Cheese.
But I mean, if you're taking a regular pic, I mean, I've taken a
Right.
couple pics, and it's like, all right, you got to make sure. You know, you got to.
Well,
Fine.
of
Flex it.
course.
No, that's okay.
Of
But if
course.
the photo is
Yeah.
just flexing,
Right. Yeah.
If it's-
I've actually seen guys on dating apps just lifting their shirt,
No.
full abs,
No.
and like that like crease.
No.
Meatheads.
I mean, listen,
And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Is
Why?
this a real choice?
Are
here?
you? I'm embarrassed for
Can
you.
you read? Like,
Just
I don't know.
To me, the transparency of like insecurity behind that is what is sad. It's
You
sad.
know what? I mean, because I have, because I work out with a lot of my frat brothers and things like that, and they bodybuild. So more than like, they'll do it to show off like their hard work. They'll
Sure.
be like, hey, I'm in here. But not all of your pictures. You can get a couple.
I understand what
Get a
you're
couple.
saying.
Yes.
It's not, there are some gray areas. If somebody is a bodybuilder and they're like, I want to show the striation in my muscle or whatever the
Right,
fuck it's called,
right.
then okay. But like, you can tell, I think, if it's just some like Ryan from Love at First Flight, like in the mirror, you'd be like,
Oh
no.
my god, I would die. I would actually die.
I mean,
Okay, so on your
magic
show,
mode.
My God.
wait, on your show though, of all the guys, I would think that like Mike
You would
would
be
have
friends with-
posted. No, I think he would
Oh.
have posted that kind of photo on his.
Because he looks like
dating-
he works out, yeah.
Yeah, but like
Yeah.
would have been like. Like the face and all. Like for those listening, I just made like a really snarly, like
She
stupid face.
snarled her face and pretended to lift her shirt up.
I did. Which brings us to a lot of fun things now.
Yes. Well, he knows how to whisper some things in your ear that have bad
Right.
punctuation.
Yeah, he won't articulate on that one.
Yeah.
Well, now you guys know what to look for. And also, hopefully, he sends you thoughtful messages and doesn't just say the same canned message he sends to everybody else.
And yeah, and you feel like there's a personal connection. And also, I think being proactive, we talked about this too, like making those like last minute plans. Don't you feel like if you are into a girl, have you had times where you're like thinking about when you want to see her next? So you're making
Right.
a plan for later.
Right. And it's based off of the conversation. And then from there, it's like, okay, you said you like this. So later on down the line, you do something that she likes.
Listening.
Then it's
Man.
like, oh my gosh.
It's
Take
not
me
that,
now.
A little
honestly-
goes a long way.
Honestly,
I
it's
just was like, oh,
not
yes.
that hard. It's not.
Oh,
if
it's
you
not.
if you notice, if you listen to a girl say, I like to do A, B, or C, and then you think about doing that in a week from now, and you like knock on her door with a fucking flower, done.
Yep.
How hard
Yep.
is that?
Not hard.
Yeah, guys can be lazy sometimes.
Well, then
But
that
if
means
you-
they don't really want
That's a player though. Like that's part of being like lazy and complacent is like that player mentality. A guy who really tries because they're like, I don't want this thing to go away, or I really, or even
You just
not
really
even
care
that.
about the person.
You just want
Right,
to be.
right. You have to
You
care.
want to
Then you wanna
spend
make them
time.
happy.
They always say. Or we always say, and I don't know who said it. They, that
Us,
person.
they.
It's
Us
only
experts.
it's only far if you don't want to go.
Oh, my friend said that, and I keep repeating it.
It's like
He was
true,
right.
right? someone invites you to a party and you don't really want to go, you're like, oh, sorry, it's in Burbank. I
All of a
can't
sudden,
make
you have
it.
allergies. The rain is pouring. Like,
Right,
and you're just like, I
right.
cannot get there no matter what happens.
But if
Right.
so-and-so was at this party, you'd be like, yeah, fuck,
I'll
I
be
need to
there.
get off work
Yeah,
early.
I'm there. Yeah.
Right.
Yes,
You're like,
right?
I gotta go get a haircut. Like, I
Yep.
gotta get a new shirt.
Yep.
I'm there.
Yep.
And if you feel like that is happening to you, like you feel like it's hard for someone to get to you, that person's probably a player. Because they don't really want to. They don't really want to be there.
Yeah, no, they don't. Well, now it's time for a pop quiz.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
All right, so we just went over how to spot a player. And now we want to see if you paid attention with those listening skills we've been talking about
Yes.
and deserve for everybody to graduate to master dater status. We're
right.
going to list some attributes of a person who is hot on the dating scene. And you are going to have to tell us play if you think that this person is just down to fuck, or date if you think this person might be someone you want to schedule future plans with in our game called Play Date.
So play if they're like, ooh, this guy's a player. Date if they're a keeper.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Also, we know that you just got all these like dates planned for you on your show.
Right.
So maybe you're unfamiliar, but we're gonna help you out.
Okay, we're
here,
just
too.
gonna
Thank
like
you.
throw out some things. He texts you when he's out with his boys.
Oh, play.
Okay.
He always has his phone in his hand, even on a date.
Ooh, play.
Ooh, damn.
He has a lot of girlfriends.
It depends.
It does depend. I think you're
Yeah,
right.
You gotta put
I
an
agree. I
asterisk
think-
on that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, that's fair.
We'll let that slide.
He sends an Uber to pick you up.
Oh, date.
Okay. Yeah.
I
'cause-
have differing opinion on that. I actually think he's like, well, I'm gonna get this bitch drunk too. So sometimes
Oh,
you never
no.
know. You never know. It could go either way.
He could pick you up for that.
True. True.
But he wants to get drunk.
Yeah, that's true. He doesn't really answer your FaceTime calls.
Ooh, yeah, play.
Yeah.
Say that.
He only wants to hang out on Sundays.
Play.
He has 5 sisters.
Oh, date. He
Yeah.
knows what a woman wants.
I
He's probably
right?
scared of them too. He's like, I've
Right.
seen them cry. Ah.
Right.
All right. He is an open book and will tell you anything.
Date.
And I'm gonna give you one more. He works in a bar.
Ooh. Play.
I know you want to say play.
Play.
But also, what if he's doing that so he can like support his day job, which is gonna like pay off in the end, or he's going to school?
I
or
mean,
something.
then maybe, but
Guys.
we're just gonna generalize.
We're gonna generalize.
Yeah, we're gonna generalize.
Play.
that.
Playa.
Yeah.
Playa.
Sorry, every bartender listening to this
Right,
podcast.
sorry.
We drink your
Screw
drinks,
you.
but we're not gonna date you.
Exactly.
Or maybe we will if you're cute enough.
Or, yeah. I mean, bartenders are getting play these days.
Actually,
Well,
they do say
always, yeah.
bartenders make the best mates because like they go home after work. Like
Oh yeah, they're like over it, right?
they're like tired. They're like, I'm
Right.
not staying out. I've just been out.
They're working the scene. They're not working the
Right.
scene,
So
right?
who knows, guys? And apparently they make really good tips. So.
And they're popular too.
And maybe they'll play just the tip.
Mm.
Does just the tip count as sex?
Well,
Just say yes.
I don't think
No.
that it does.
I think so.
I mean, a couple pumps still.
What? All
Yeah,
the
it
way
does.
pump? Yes,
it
that
does. It does,
Just
man.
the tip.
It does.
Just the-
Just the tip. I mean, who stops after just the
Right,
tip,
no
though?
one. At
It's
least at
happened.
our age.
It's
What?
happened.
Right.
Years ago.
Oh.
It was years ago, but then I ended up having sex with that person years later. So it was
so
like
the tip won.
the tip won because then I was like, oh my God, my number's different if just the tip counts. But then I ended up having sex with them anyway. So it was like, oh, then it's all the same.
Who keeps track these days anyway? It's
I mean, I have a list.
Okay, well,
Keep a list.
That's commendable.
If you have a list, then you're not a player, I would think.
or you just like to keep track so you don't forget, like other people do.
Well, I mean, sometimes it's hard to remember. It's not for me. Anyway, I
Anyway.
listen and pay attention. And I wouldn't classify myself as a player, although I did have a time in my life where I like to have fun.
I think everybody had their player
Yeah.
time in their life.
And if they didn't, they're gonna do it later,
Exactly.
and then
That's not good.
No,
I know.
don't have that midlife crisis. Get it out now.
Get it out of your system. And we watched Michael, or are watching Michael.
Yeah, currently.
Maybe after he got it out of his system and is quote unquote ready to be in a committed relationship. So we're going to keep watching you on Love at First Flight. It's on Lifetime every Tuesday at 7 Eastern time.
Well, it's 10
No,
p.m.
10
10
p.m.
p.m. Eastern.
Yeah.
Oh, but I get it early.
She does.
And
She's got
remind
satellite or
everyone
something.
where they can find you and if you have anything upcoming that people need to hear about.
You can find me on all my social media at Stu Michaels. That's STEWMICHAELS.
Okay. All right.
And where
great.
can we find you next after Love at First Flight? Where do you go from there?
Well,
A wedding? Sorry, I'm gonna just keep doing this.
allegedly, but and then I really feel like I can really help people trim the fat in relationships
Okay.
based off of this.
Oh,
Maybe he's an
damn.
expert now.
Well, we'll have to have you back on our show, and we will
course.
trim the fat that time.
Yes, we will. Okay, and don't forget to trim the fat with our plastic surgeon guest next week is Dr. Diaz and his wife, business partner Ursula Diaz. They're going to come in and share some secrets to their wonderful marriage and their business life with all of us. And don't forget to follow us on the social medias at Complicated Show and Jen.
If that was a segue, I mean, damn.
I figured it out. I did it.
Damn.
Liposuction.
You win. You can go home.
Sheesh.
All right, guys, you can follow me at Jennifer Golden on all the social media.
And you can follow me at Lauren Leonelli on all the social medias. And we will be back next week for another fun episode about dating and relationships. Love you long time. Bye.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion. From executive producers Maria Menounos, Keven Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.